Good luck.
Well, my name is Scott Puopolo, and I'm the Vice President. I'm the Global Head of the Cisco IBSG consulting organization. And today, actually, we're just releasing a new study that we've developed, which is a set of 10 predictions on what the television will look like in 20 years. And with that today at OTTCON, we presented 5 of those. And there were 3 that I thought I would probably highlight. But perhaps maybe it makes a little sense to take a step back and just give you a sense as to what we're doing and why we did it. This was really an idea that we had developed because as we looked back on our own childhoods, we recognized how much change there had been occurring. I think about my life in Boston, 5 channels, black and white, and then I watch my kids today, using YouTube, downloading and streaming videos over Netflix, watching television, and then interacting with games that utilize the same characters. And I said, God, it's incredible what's happened. I can imagine what that would be in another 20 years. So what we did is we went out and we interviewed 50 industry and academic thought leaders. These covered the studios and production houses, the academic environment. We spoke to equipment companies who are providing consumer equipment. We spoke to really a number of players in the ecosystem, really understanding what they're working on and what their visions of that future were like. We collected all that information, and then what we did is we went compiled it and developed a series of predictions. We then went out back to them and surveyed them to identify which of these they agreed with or disagreed with, and when they thought these actual predictions would come to fruition. And that's where we settled on the 10 that are in the actual report. But these are 3 that I think are perhaps the most provocative and certainly thought-provoking. And there are 3. The first is that we actually believe that television over the next 10 to 20 years will become a broader sensory experience. Today it's visual and auditory, but I don't know if you remember, Earthquake, the movie in the 1970s where you had sense around. Well, all of a sudden take that to its logical extreme, and now you're looking at not only the ability to watch Rachel Ray cook those scrumptious brownies, but you can actually smell them. And just imagine watching a television program where you're on a beach and you can actually feel the breeze of the beach or even the humidity. There's research that's going on right now around even bringing the tactile dimension into the experience. So again, we see that as clearly a defining moment in immersive experience. So that's the first one. The second one is that we think that the concept of a single-purpose TV device is actually going away. With screen technologies that exist today, it's going to be possible for screens to be anywhere. Think about this. I have in my bedroom. I have a picture. It's a picture frame, and it has a Magritte, which is one of my favorite artists. So. I decide I actually want to watch a program. I want to watch one of my programs. So I use hand gestures because television remotes are going away, and gestures and voice recognition is going to become the way of the world. And I do some manipulation. All of a sudden, up pops one of my streams, one of the things that I want to watch. Consume that, and it's at the end of the show, and I look at my watch. I say, "Oh my gosh, my kids are over at my mother-in-law's. I should give them a quick." Video call and say goodnight to them. So I do some additional hand waves, and that screen transforms from a television presentation to an interactive video presentation. I talk to my children and my mother-in-law. I say goodnight to them, close that up, and then I decide it's okay. I've got to get up early in the morning. I set my alarm. And that screen then turns itself into an alarm where over time, when I wake up in the morning, the sun rises on that screen just as it would in reality. So that's another one that we think is interesting. It's multi-screen. I have the ability to put that screen anywhere, on a t-shirt, on the wall, and I have the ability to change the screen size using pinch and pull kinds of gestures. Very similar, obviously, to what we see in things like the iPod and some of the Android devices. So then the third one that I think is kind of interesting is the movement from passive viewing experience to becoming much more of an interactive. You're not only a fan and you're following a television show, but you're actually immersing yourself in it, and you're almost participating in it. So, again, if you think about today already, people are friending characters on social media. My kids are playing with characters through their video games. Well, the logical extension of that is now all of a sudden I'm at Best Buy, and a hologram of Chuck shows up, and Chuck is actually able to give me some advice on consumer electronics that I might be interested in buying, maybe giving me some secret tips about secret agents. So that's that kind of immersive experience. My involvement as a consumer, I'm not passive. I'm not just following, I'm part of it. And in fact, I have the ability in that to, when I'm watching a television program, to change my vantage point. I could be looking at this from a different character's viewpoint. I could be getting 360 views of the environment that characters are operating, and I have the ability to control that myself. So if I had to wrap up, if you said, well, what's the big message in all of this? The big message is that the concept of consumer-controlled, increased, immersive, interactive experience is going to be the future of television, and the consumption of our content is going to be ubiquitous. We will be able to access it anywhere, anytime, from any device, in any format.